Hi guys, I'm Mark and welcome to Simply Scuba Live. This is the February edition of our live broadcast where I'm here to tell you all of the new information about the scuba industry, all the new products and bits and bobs, and answer any questions that you've got. Special guest star I've got with me today is Vinnie from CPS, who distributes TUSA, waterproof, Metalsub, Intova, all those brands. So any questions you've got for him, put them in the comment section below, and he's here to answer your questions in a little bit. First piece of news we got is we recently won Scuba Retailer of the Year from Dive Magazine, so a big thank you to all of you, for everybody who voted. We are only here because of you guys, and all your votes, they mean a lot to us. Any changes, any information or something that you want from us, just let us know, and we'll try and make our website as good as it can be for you guys. Thanks again for that. A few new products or news from Simply Scuba we've got. We're having a new brand, SEAC. We're having a whole range of equipment, everything from dry suits, regulators, computers. Actually, no, there aren't dive computers, I'm afraid. BCDs, wetsuits, mask fins, so a little bit of everything. So they'll be arriving on our website in the next few weeks. On from that, what we're going to do is we're going to have a quick look at the website and have a look at some of the new products that we've added to our range. So whenever you visit our website, what we have is a dedicated section here, which is called Just Arrived. And whenever we get a new piece of equipment, we add it up here first. So when you click on Just Arrived, it brings up all the new equipment. And what we've been adding recently, after the dive show, we've been looking at Aqualung and Approx dry bags. And these are really cool, tough pieces of kit. Approx are renowned for making really, really tough equipment. They do a lot of dealings with military and all that kind of stuff. So their equipment is really rugged. And what they've brought out is a new range of dry bags. From the smaller dry 12 single core dry bag, this is just a small roll top 12-litre dry bag, but it's made out of really tough reinforced tarpaulin material. And as you see here on these little sections, if I go into the product, they have all these different mounting points for the carabiners. Now, these will make sense in a little bit, but what they do is they work as a modular system. When you use it with their other bags, like the Dry 75, this is more like a big rucksack. What you can do is clip one of those little Dry 12 bags onto these little D-rings here. So you can actually add up to 48 extra litres of space. And it just means that you can separate your wet kit from your dry kit. You can keep everything safe. You can tie it down. If you're on a boat, you can tie it down to a post or something just to stop it from rolling around. And you do have his big brother, the Dry 100, which is your big duffel bag. And what this does, it opens all the way along the top here and then rolls down as a standard dry top bag. But the really nice feature of this is it's got a little drainage plug down in this bottom corner. So what you can do is, after all your diving, you can fill this full of water, use it as a dunk tank. You can dump your regs in and your BCD, your wetsuit, just to wash it out. And then after that, you just pull the plug and that drains out, which makes life so much more comfortable. And also, because all the seals are dry welded, or heat welded, sorry, they are completely waterproof. So so there'll be absolutely no leaking. So putting it in the back of your car after a good day's diving, your boot of your car isn't going to get soaking wet. On from that, Aqualung have brought out a range of dry bags as well. They're all silver, and the reason why they're silver is because this new outer core reflects sunlight. And if ever you're at a dive site, I normally put all my kit in a dry bag. And if it gets left out in the sun, you open it up and it's sweltering hot inside there. This silver exterior core actually lowers the internal core temperature of each of these bags by about 13 degrees compared to a black coloured equivalent. So that's really cool. Aqualung brought out the Argonaut dive knife. So this is new. This is one for the boys. It's really techy. It's a full titanium blade. So it's made out of a single piece of titanium. Comes in the two different tips. We've got the Spartan tip here, or the blunt chisel tip here. And everything about it is rugged. They've wrapped the handle in paracord, but what you can do, you can take that off, and underneath here they have different hex wrenches cut into the handle. So that's just a nice backup tool. On from that, coming soon, they're not with us right now, are the Apex Tech shorts. Now these are stretchy neoprene. They're 1.5 millimeters of neoprene shorts. And what these do is they can be worn by themselves, over your wetsuit or over your dry suit, and they can add these thigh pockets. Because if you're swimming around, most wetsuits nowadays, they don't come with thigh pockets. So if you need your backup mask or a torch and a reel, if you need somewhere to keep them whilst you're diving, you've got those thigh pockets. You can wear them by themselves, and on the back sides, you can't see it in this picture, but they do have a grip section on the seat. So that means they'll be perfect for kayaking, just any kind of water sports. They're going to be really nice when they start turning up. On from that, that's all that's on the website right now. I do have in front of me, here I am, Exposure Marine. You guys are probably familiar with the Exposure Marine M3, which is their small handheld primary dive torch where you spin it to turn it on and you spin it to turn it off. They've just rejuvenated it, and they're coming out with a Sub N3 Mark II, and I have one here. It's a little bit smaller than its big brother, but they've done away with. You can still do it, but they've added a new way that you can turn the torch on and off. They have a simple touch function on the back, and I only got this a moment ago, but it's very intuitive. Simple touch, and it turns up the lumens. 3 settings: high, medium, and low. And then on the screen there, you have your battery burn time. So all you do is just push this little section here, medium and high, and that changes how bright it is. Another good feature of this torch is the fact that it's a completely sealed unit. So so there's no O-rings, there's no unscrewing of anything. It's completely sealed, so it's virtually flood-proof. There's no way that you can get into there without physically breaking it. So that's a very nice little torch. They'll be coming soon. Okay, guys, I mentioned him earlier. My guest host is Vinnie. He is he's the technical advisor for CPS, which is all of your TUSA, your Metalsub, and waterproof. And here he is now. Hi, Vinnie.
Thanks for the invite over.
That's all right.
A nice evening like this. Hopefully we get plenty of questions.
Yeah, that's it. Vinnie's here to answer any of your questions. He's here to help me answer questions as well. And so if you've got any, please post them wherever you are, on Twitter, on Facebook, on YouTube. Just get the questions over to us, and we'll get them answered live on the show. If you want specific questions about a specific product, let us know in the question as well, and we'll see if we can find one so we can actually show it to you whilst we're talking. So I'm going to go do the first questions now. This one is from Gemma Mount. She asked on Facebook, I'm looking to do my dry suit training soon and was wondering which women-specific dry suits that you would recommend. Thank you, and look forward to watching. Okay, so Gemma, definitely diving in the UK, dry suits are definitely a must. So what they do, a lot of the manufacturers, they actually have female specific cuts, which are a bit more flattering, and they'll fit a bit better. They'll be a lot more comfortable when you're in the water. If we have a look at our website, what we have here is when you go to scuba diving, go down to dry suits. And then when you're in the dry suits, that shows all of our dry suits. So we've got a lot to choose from, but not all of them are women specific. Some of them are unisex, but some of them are specifically designed for women. And what we've done is in the department section up here, if you drop down there, we have women's dry suits. When you click on that, it gives you the list of the women's dry suits that we hold in at the moment. So as far as a beginner dry suit for a woman, what you'd be looking at is your Typhoon concept, or something like your Oceanic HD 400S. I like the Typhoon. Typhoon come with a 3-year watertight warranty. So that means that if any of the leaks, if any of the seals leak or the valves leak, Typhoon will get it back and they will fix it free of charge, as long as it isn't user error, as long as you're not diving in and out of wrecks and whatnot, and get any sort of rips and tears. It's only the seals themselves. What the concept has, if we can have a look at a larger picture, is around the midsection here, they have a webbing section where you can tighten it just to make it a bit more flattering for women. And that's very nice. That's very useful for your air migration, so you don't have all these sort of large pockety areas around your midsection. It's just a very nice, simple, but fairly rugged suit that's designed specifically for women. Okay. So Rebecca Ham on Facebook wants to know, what is the best quality undersuit on a budget? Now this is something that Vinnie can help with, because Waterproof make a nice undersuit. It's very dependent on what dry suit you get, really.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you've got your neoprene dry suit or your membrane dry suit. Your neoprene dry suit is much tighter fitting, snug, so you really only want a thin layer underneath that.
Sure.
So you've got your thinner layer material. It has got wicking ability in the material, so the material is it will give you thermal protection.
Yep.
And will give you the wicking properties of there, so that's very, very useful.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if you're going for your membrane suit, you normally have your quilted area, because what you've got to remember there is the membrane won't have any thermal properties in it, so you are relying on the air trapped in the quilting area to keep you warm. Yeah. So they are completely different, so a little bit of an awkward question to answer. Yeah,
that's it. I mean, I started off in a membrane dry suit. Right now, I'm diving in a Waterproof D10, which is a neoprene dry suit. Yeah. And the material itself, the neoprene, has a thermal capacity, so I don't need such a thick undersuit when I'm actually diving. Even when I was up in the Arctic, I only needed a fairly basic undersuit. When I'm diving in the UK in the summertime, I'll only wear just shorts and a t-shirt, because the neoprene material itself already has that thermal capacity. Yeah, so Waterproof, they make the body tech.
Yes.
Comes in the dual
we've got
dual layer and a single layer.
Yeah.
So yeah, depending on what you're diving in, when you're diving, yeah, the body tech is a nice place to start.
Okay.
On from that, Baz Morgan, also on Facebook, wants to know the main reasons for a free flow. So about 90% of the regulators on the market today are what we call a downstream regulator. And what that basically means, if any single part of the first or second stage fails, it's going to fail in an open position. So it's going to give you more air than you need. The regulators, downstream regulators, are designed so that, yeah, if something goes wrong, it's going to give you air as opposed to just switching off. Inside the regulator, if we have a look at the second stage, what they have underneath the front cover, underneath the purge button, if we unscrew this, there's a diaphragm. And what the diaphragm does is, when you breathe in, it will suck the diaphragm in. And the diaphragm will then push on this little lever. And what the lever does is, when it gets pushed in, it opens the valve. So air coming from the first stage is running at about 9 or 10 bar, depending on the manufacturer and the regulator. It reaches here and it's stopped by a seal. And that seal is retracted whenever you push down on this lever. So normally, when most people get free flows, it's when they first jump in the water, and 9 times out of 10, it's your OCTA, your alternate air source. And that's normally because the regulator is mouthpiece up. So that means that the water is going to hit that diaphragm, depress that lever, open the valve. And as soon as that happens, it's going to let air into the second stage. As soon as that happens, the air is going to be pushed out of the mouthpiece, and then it's going to create a bit of a vacuum. What that vacuum does is that sucks that diaphragm in, holds the lever pressed down, keeps that open. Another problem with this is when something goes from high pressure to low pressure, it gets cold. Like when you spray your deodorant can in the morning, it gets cold. Anytime high pressure goes to low pressure, it gets cold. And what that can do, especially when mixed around water, is it will form ice. And then when ice starts to form inside that valve, it will freeze in an open position and it will just get worse and worse. So there's a couple ways to interrupt that. The first way, normally as soon as it happens, if you just stick your finger in the mouthpiece, that normally increases the pressure inside the second stage and interrupts it. A lot of manufacturers nowadays are coming out with Venturi levers or pre-dive levers. And these can either be set to a sort of on or off position. And what these do, if we can see, this is the barrel on the inside, the metal section. And when it's set to sort of pre-dive or the plus position, this little Venturi lever directs the airflow back towards the front of the second stage, towards the diaphragm. So whenever air comes in, it pushes that diaphragm out, and then you'll be able to breathe it. Then when you're ready to go diving, you flick it to dive mode or minus, and then that just directs the airflow into your mouth. So that's a good way of interrupting a free flow. There are a few other reasons, but 9 times out of 10, that's your most common reason for a free flow. Happy with that?
Excellent, Mark.
Everything
I've
makes
learned
sense?
a lot tonight already.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of free flows, and yeah, I've been inside quite a few sets of regs. So yeah, it's a common problem. It's just a matter of really just looking after your kit, and getting it serviced regularly. That's one thing that I really used to see a lot of people. They'd only get their regulator serviced like every few years or when something started to go wrong. But no, the manufacturers come out with a schedule of how often you should service your regulator, and it's best that you stick to that. Okay. Sean from Facebook wants to know, which BCDs would you guys recommend for a first-time scuba diver? I'm going diving mainly abroad, but I also want one that I can take diving in the UK with. It's got to be light, but it's also got to be tough. So so this is the age-old trouble with BCDs. It's the matter of the heavier it gets, the tougher it gets, and of course the lighter it gets, the weaker it gets,
the thinner material,
the thinner it is. Yeah. So a lot of manufacturers, they come out with travel-specific BCDs. So you'll get something very light, like a Scuba Pro Go, which weighs very little. So it's great for travel. But if you swim into a wreck or something, or just any sort of sharp rocks, the material is more likely to wear a lot faster. So so they're not so good for British diving. Another point you've got to look at is the amount of lift it needs. Travel BCDs tend to have a lot less lift than your bigger, bulkier BCDs. A BCD that I really like is the Aqualung Pro HD. It's just got a lot of features for a sort of entry-level BCD. It's I'll have a look at it on the website whilst we're here. Very nice BCD. They're full of features. BCDs. Let's go and find it. Here's the Pro HD. So a nice strong material, and what they've also done with this material is they've made a new durable Resistec material. And what this does, it reduces fade. After you've been sort of using a BCD for a while, especially if you're traveling and you leave it in the sunlight, or you're diving in and out of a pool, the chemicals they can start to discolor BCDs. I'm sure you've seen it, Vinnie.
Yes, many a time. Yes, unfortunately.
This kind of horrible brown color. Whereas this Resistec material is designed to stay black for as long as possible. So yeah, depending on sort of where you're thinking of going with your diving career, what kind of diving you're thinking of doing at any stage, I'd be looking at the Aqualung Pro HD. Okay.
Sounds very good.
Yeah, there's lots of brands out there. Nobody really makes any bad equipment nowadays. A lot of the stuff, it needs to be CE tested and all that. Everyone makes sort of nice equipment. It's just finding something that's comfortable. That's the really, really important part. Where are we? Phil Hetherington from Facebook wants to know who makes the best SLR housing for Canon 5D Mark III. So that's a big SLR camera. CNC or Nauticam. They're both very, very good brands. I used to use a CNC camera. Very tough, nice housing, very easy to use. I did a bit of research before this just to make sure I knew what I was talking about with this specific SLR camera. I'm personally leaning towards the Nauticam. The CNC is made out of nice anodized aluminium housing. Most of the functions, you can reach most of the buttons. But with the Nauticam, you can actually use all of their functions, and it actually has a wider range of mounting points for your strobes, and also for any external lighting that you might need. So I give the edge to the Nauticam. It's a big investment, so yeah, take your time, have a chat with as many people as possible, see what they use, and yeah, just get as much advice as possible. Personally, I've not gone into SLR cameras.
I've got no knowledge on this side of it at all. No, we only deal with the smaller cameras.
Yeah, no.
This is a minefield, and it's an expensive minefield.
Yes,
so it's one that you do need to get some good advice on.
Yeah, I'd rather spend more time doing a bit of research than just jumping in and buying the first thing that you can get.
Yeah, there's some experts out there, and speak to them. I think is on that one. Sure.
Okay, so Phil Grinus, I think this was from Google+. He has two questions for us. The first one, it would be nice to get a review about the Scuba capsule, and is it worth buying something like this over a Sinto dive computer? So we looked this up, and the Scuba capsule is where you basically get your smartphone, and you put that into a waterproof housing with a pressure sensor, and your smartphone basically acts as your dive computer. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of this, mainly because I know what the battery life is like on my iPhone. I'd prefer something that's physically dedicated to working out your algorithms, how safe everything is. Yeah, no.
Leave it to the experts on that one.
That's it. Yeah, I'd really get a dedicated dive computer film.
I think so.
His second question is, what mask could you recommend for prescription lenses? So this works quite well because TUSA make quite a few masks. TUSA make 3 masks.
We'll make most of our twin lens masks, you can put corrective lenses in, but it's a question we get asked a lot, certainly when we go to the dive show and things like that. The question I normally ask back to the asker of the question is, what's your correction or what's your prescription?
Yes.
And they normally say, I don't know. So that makes it a little bit more difficult, because we do minus lenses in some of the masks, but no positive or bifocal lenses.
Sure.
But the easiest one, which takes them all, is either the Ceos mask or the Geminus mask.
Yep.
So they're two good masks. They both take the same lens.
Yes.
So they're identical lenses in there. And we go from -1 up to -8 in the half diopter.
Nice.
Or we can go from +1 to +4.5 in half diopter again.
Sure.
Or we do a bifocal. Now, bifocal, I mean plane at the top and a reader at the bottom. So it's really a ready reader.
Yeah.
Those who are like me are getting a little bit old now. We can't quite
read your gauges.
Yeah, not quite there. So we need the ready reader type ones, and we go from +1 to +4.5.
That's good.
And this is a replaceable lens. So we take the old lens out and replace it with the new lens.
Yep.
So that's a common question that we
That's
are.
good. And as far as the measuring themselves, they take the spherical reading.
Yes, there's normally 3 readings on there. There's a spherical or sphere value, which is the one that we're correcting.
Sure.
Which is why we call it a corrective lens rather than a prescription lens.
Yeah.
You've got a seal value on there, cylinder value, That's more astigmatism,
Okay.
which we're not correcting for.
No.
And then you've got your axis value again, which we're not taking into account.
No, you need so many different interchangeable lenses.
But
and
obviously,
combinations.
if you need advice, your best place is your opticians, which will give you proper advice on reading your prescription if you are having trouble with it. But if it's just like readers and things like that, then it's the best guess, and we're only using the mask for a short period of time. So we're not reading a book underwater necessarily.
Well, some of us might be.
Yeah, only on those long decoys. Yeah, playing games on your computer or your iPhone.
So you were at the dive show recently.
This weekend.
What other kind of common questions did you get?
The other question that we got specifically with the scuba diving mask is the differences between the skirts.
Yep.
TUSA, recently, about a year ago, we introduced a new skirt.
Yes.
Which we call Freedom. It's not really the name of the mask, it's the name of the skirt. So there's a number of our masks will all come with the Freedom skirt.
Yes.
And it's a different sort of technology.
Yeah.
So I'll just get one
we do have some here
to have a look at. So this is the CEOS mask, the green one. And this is the Geminus mask. Now they look identical, and again the lenses would be the same, etc. No problems at all. But what TUSA have done here is they've worked on the actual fit of the skirt to make it more comfortable. So it's softer in places and it's much thinner, especially under the nose piece where you can put the regulator on there. You can actually see that.
This section here where it's wafer thin there. Yeah. And a lot of people, they complain they get that kind of section there and it just hurts after a dive.
Yeah.
That's what that's there for.
That's it. Now, so the two masks should fit the same, but most of the time when I was at the dive show, we would say to somebody, well, try that one on. Yep. And then try that one on and just tell me which you prefer best, and would you pay the extra money for it, of course, because that's what but the skirt itself is a Freedom skirt, and that will be on a number of different styles of our mask, but it is that type of technology. Yes. And that's been very popular and is working well.
You also have these dimples around the sort of top section around your temple and around your cheekbone here. And that's to increase flexibility.
That's it. And it makes it all softer, feel there. And you get a nice sense of water around here. So because it's thinner, you can feel the water onto you.
Feels much more natural.
It does, Very good. And some nice colours on that one as well now. Bringing in some nice colours and bits and pieces.
Yeah, the fishtail blue I'm liking.
Yeah, a lot of people like that one.
That's a nice strong blue. Yeah, I do like that.
So that's a very common question that we're being asked all the time with the correction. Obviously, if we can't do the correction there and you want a specific lens, then people are asking that question as well. There will be people who can make proper prescription lenses to fit into the mask. They can use either the lens as a template or take the lens out and bond onto that. Yeah, that's all too technical for the likes of me, but they can be doing that. Good question, though. That's a common one.
Yeah. Prescription lenses. You again, it's very personal. You want to make sure that it's right. It's an investment.
Well, you're going to be paying sort of about £50–60 for a scuba diving mask, and then maybe £30 a lens on top of that. Obviously, if you have one made, it's going to be double the price on those ones. But of course, you can change, especially with not just promoting TUSA ones, but of course, you can change skirts and things like that. So there's always spare parts for it. So although you've invested the money into it, it should last you for a very long time.
That's good.
Unless your correction changes, in which case you need a new lens.
Because that's one thing that that I find a lot, especially sort of working abroad, is the clear skirts. They tend to they turn colour.
Yeah.
They go a sort of yellowy brown. And a lot of people they sort of don't really understand sort of what's happening, and it's if you leave it out the sun. Suntan lotion, you just the silicone does start to degrade over time. So if you can change the skirt without having to buy a completely new mask, even better. You can make your mask last a lot longer.
Yes. As long as the fashions don't change or colours don't change, and you go down that line. I mean, we have a lot of people at the dive show, and they've had a mask for 10–15 years, and they're very proud of that particular mask. and they want to keep it, and they're very happy to change the skirts over.
Yeah. Once we got the CEOS out, you've got the CEOS Pro with you.
I have got a CEOS Pro.
Now we recently took on the CEOS Pro, and what the CEOS Pro is, the frame and the skirt and the buckles and the strap are exactly the same. But what TUSA have done is they've you'll explain it better, but it's got much better glass.
Yeah, the quality of the glass is that you can normally see it when we take the lens out, that the standard glass has got a green inside the lens.
There's sort of impurities and minerals.
Yeah, so they've worked on this, and they've got some clearer glass. Again, this is a good one for, at the dive shows or things like this, or if you're going to your dive store, you can try the mask on, try a plain one on, and then try the clear one on, and you can see the clarity.
See the difference.
It's got an anti-reflective coating on there. That's why it only comes in the black.
Yes.
So it will come with only a black skirt. But remember, guys out there, if you buy this one, don't then go and change the lenses and put corrective lenses in there. You might as well just have bought the plain one in the first place.
Yeah, you'll lose all of those.
Yeah.
As soon as you take the lenses
right.
out.
Yeah.
Cool. So a couple other new products we got coming out from Intova, which are one of the companies that Vinnie works for or distributes. The first one is the Nova HD, which is the sort of the new version of the SP1, really.
Yes, the SP1 has now basically stopped production of that, and has now been swapped over to this. They've upgraded the chips, etc.
So as far as upgrading chips, that makes it better. Yeah, battery life gets better. So basically, with everything in life nowadays, it's all run by a processor chip, and as the chip gets better, the performance of the device gets better. It's in exactly the same housing. It works in exactly the same way as the housing was there before. So that's been reliable, as reliable as we can do with a camera. Basically, the clipping system and that, again, that's worked well. They have changed the colour of the clip from red to black.
That's only a fashion thing.
Cosmetic.
Yeah. All the lenses will fit back on there, no problem at all. So if you've got your red filters or your colour lenses and things like that, they all fit straight on there.
Anything for the SP1 will work on the Nova. That's clever. And out of the box, this one in this housing goes down to 60 meters.
60 meters, yeah. Which
is deeper than I can go. So yeah, rugged, sort of small action video camera. Yeah, very tough.
Very tough.
Very nice.
The mounts on it, so you can mount it to multiple things. So you can use it for surfboarding or windsurfing or whatever you want to be doing. There's lots of mounts that go around all these types of cameras. So
another cool feature of this is that it actually has a you can't really see it, a viewfinder on there, so you can actually see what you're filming. You can actually frame your pictures. Some other action video cameras, you have to buy that separate. You have to buy dive housings so they can go down to 60 meters, whereas this is ready to rock and roll straight out of the box. The Nova also has a brother, as it were, the Edge.
Big brother, yes.
The big brother, the Edge X, which we also have with us, and attached is also the Intova Action Video Light. So again, small, compact, but nice and rugged action video light. So what makes this difference from the SP?
The big advantage on this one, obviously the chip is better inside there, so you've got a better chip in there. Even better. But the big change on this one is the menu system and the button system. So they've changed it from being the buttons at the back,
all across the back.
Yeah,
like
they've now got a very easy to use menu system. You find people pick it up and they can whiz through it quite easily. So that's really straightforward. It does have Wi-Fi ability on there.
Nice.
That doesn't mean you go on the internet with it. It really just means that it's got the Wi-Fi ability. So you've got your smartphone, you can connect to the camera, you can tell it to stream or to turn on, to take pictures. You can switch it from video mode to camera mode, all on from your iPhone.
Yeah.
You can download from it, but again, I think that's power-wise, you're going to use an awful lot of battery power just for that purpose. So maybe it's just easy to take the card out and bring it that way, but
Sure.
it can be done for that method. But again, it's how long the batteries are going to last for these sorts of things.
And the little action video light is a nice sort of even spread light.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
it
it.
has.
Just
Oh,
hold
it
it
does
on,
have.
that's it. Yeah.
It's quite bright.
It's quite bright light. So you can put it
Yeah.
into strobe, things like that.
Just a nice even coverage, and it's very, very lightweight. Yeah, nice simple rechargeable battery.
Rechargeable battery in there. It comes with a cradle you put in there, and it recharges from a USB slot. The camera recharges from a USB device. We do have a replaceable battery in this one, which is a bonus.
Yep.
To the previous Intova camera. We've now got a rechargeable battery in here, so you can charge. You can take some spares and recharge them from an external charger.
Yeah. And it's fully posable as well, so you can kind of turn it around. So you can sort of push it up and down. So you, depending on what you're filming, great little accessory, and it's tiny. That's it.
Again, all the lenses will fit on this one the same as they fitted on the previous model.
They're all the same size.
They're all the same size,
Yeah.
so you just pop your lens on if you've got your red or your magenta or whatever colours. It depends on where you're going.
Where you diving.
Where you're diving, yes.
Yeah, red filters for blue water, magenta filters for British waters. Green
waters we have.
waters.
Any more questions?
So we've had a few questions
good.
come in.
Excellent. Keep the questions coming. More.
Okay, so where are we? Claz DG from YouTube says, "Hi there. I'm looking at getting a wetsuit for summer use in the UK, but not sure whether to go fourth element or waterproof. Which is better?"
Well, I can't answer that one. Yeah.
Well, Vinnie's here. Well, put it this way. I in my wardrobe back home, I have a what's it called? A Lynx,
Oh, the links, yeah.
which is the predecessor to the W1,
W2.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice 5mm semi-dry-ish. No, not really semi-dry.
Yeah,
It's-
it depends how you phrase semi-dry. The seals, you can invert the seals and it makes it dry, but it's not actually the fully semi-dry suit.
No.
It's just a good wetsuit with seals on it,
Yeah.
essentially.
I mean, I'm happy using that. Trying to think, sort of May time until I don't know, August, September.
Anything for sort of 14 degrees, something like
Yeah.
that, is no problems at all. If it gets down to sort of 12 degrees, then I think dry suit time comes
Yeah.
into mind. But
If you have a dry suit, you'll end up with dry suit.
yeah,
Fourth element, of course. Fourth element only make exposure protection, similar to waterproof. Their Proteus is very, very effective. Very nice to have a good sort of anti. What do you call it? They've taken it from surfing wetsuits. You get in your wetsuit and then you pull a section over your neck, and that stops the flushing in and out.
Right. Yeah.
That's what you're trying to do. You want to find a nice wetsuit that fits snugly around your wrists, your ankles, and fairly snug around your neck to stop the cold water flushing in and out. You want the water to get in, but then stay still, and that's what wetsuits are now designed.
If you turn the seals in, if you're a bit warm, you can leave the seals out.
Yep.
What I tend to look at, especially when I go away, I'm wearing a wetsuit, which is not often. I normally stay in a dry suit. Is that when you get out of the water, your legs should still be full of water.
Yes, yes.
And if that's a good sign, because that means you're not trying to heat that water up all the time. It's stayed in the suit.
So you picked two very good brands. Yeah, either way you'll be happy. Yeah, very, very nice. Nice materials they use as well.
Excellent.
Davs Brander from YouTube says, "I currently have a waterproof hood, 3.5mm, and it's amazing. So
Good.
comfortable. Nice to hear. Are the gloves as good? I've heard bad things about zipped wrists."
Yeah, waterproof have a zipper on their glove. Most a lot of people love the waterproof glove. They love the zipper idea.
I have.
No problem at all. I suppose the only issue you get with a zipper is that once you've got your first glove on, then you might have a little bit of difficulty
Your dexterity
doing
drops.
the zipper up a little bit. So you are yanking on the zipper.
Yep.
The Velcro tab is a little bit easier to use. But as I say, the pre-formed gloves, they're very nice, comfortable gloves. So we are very well known for hoods and very well known for the gloves. But yes, if you don't like the zipping up approach, then obviously your Velcro approaches can be better. Yeah,
I think the thing is that they'll keep you warm. Even with, sometimes I dive without them even zipped up. I was diving in Chepstow, it's 8 degrees, and I was wearing your 5mm gloves.
Right.
Unzipped, and I was fine. At the end of the day, or at the end of the dive, I can still deploy my SMB. I've still got dexterity in my fingers, and that's just with a 5mm. So yeah.
Looking untidy there, man. You've got to do your zips up.
That's what my buddy's for.
Of course.
I need a better buddy.
Yeah.
Okay, so for Vinnie,
well done.
5Kuji7 on Google Plus asks, question for TUSA masks. I find the TUSA M14 Visualator mask perfectly fits my face. That makes it a perfect seal and has all the features that I really look for in a mask. And I'm worried that the product might be discontinued from production in the future.
Right.
My question is, will the mask continue for another 10 years or more?
Well, that mask has actually stopped production now. So no, that mask has actually been replaced. Hopefully, well, I'm sure it's with a better mask.
Upgraded.
Still with that, but it's now got the Freedom skirt on it as well. As we were talking before about the Freedom technology on the skirt, that's proven really popular. So we have changed the mask. I'll get one.
I think we do have one. Yeah, there is.
Oh, and in your favourite fishtail blue.
I like fishtail blue.
Fishtail blue mask. Absolutely great. So it's still a large mask, still comes up very high over the forehead, and you still got good visibility on it.
Nice peripheral.
Very, very nice. The other thing they've advanced is the clipping system on here is now onto the frame, which is really nice here, and it can lock into place as well. So you can tilt the forward and backwards a little bit. So if you're finding that you want it a little bit higher there, or depending on where or how badly you put your strap on, then this can go.
It will adjust itself.
No problems at all.
That's nice.
And of course, we've got the Freedom technology skirt on there. So unfortunately, I can't remember the chap's name. Unfortunately, the M14 has now been discontinued, but we still have spare parts for it. So again, back to what we were saying before with our mask. If you need a replacement skirt, that's no problems at all. Clips are standard clips. Most of those are across the product ranges, so we still have spare parts and bits and pieces for it. So there's no reason that your mask won't last you the time that you're hoping for.
So hold on to it.
Keep it.
Or you can upgrade to the Freedom HD.
Hopefully not so much in the future. You know, you're going to have the mask for a few years yet, but if at worst, you know, you do decide on a new mask, then I think the move to the Freedom HD will be an easy switch.
They're designed to last. My first mask was a Visio Tri-X.
Yes.
You still make the Visio Tri-X.
Yes.
and yeah, that's still sat at home in my cupboard. It still works. It does the job. TUSA make very, very nice masks.
It's really what TUSA about masking and snorkel. That's what they're known for. That's what they concentrate on. But obviously, it's somebody's role in TUSA to redesign products as they go down the line. So
you can't just keep the same thing.
No, people want something different. So the name changes, the product changes very, very slightly. But no problems with that. We'll still have the spare parts for it. So no issues at all.
Okay, here's another one for Vinnie.
Oh, good. Well tonight.
Any more questions, keep forwarding to us. We've still got some time left on the clock. Drysuitdive.com on Google+. Question from one of our readers. I've accidentally let some salt water in my Metalsub XRE 700, which is a Metalsub dive light. Is there any hope in salvaging it? It happened on my first dive with it. I didn't screw the end down tight enough after charging. We've
got an honest person on the line now, I think. Yes, well, depends how long you left the water in the torch for. The torches are relatively straightforward, especially on that particular one. In there's a battery pack, And the batteries are just AA rechargeable batteries.
Sure.
Although if you bought the charging type, they are actually sealed up, so it doesn't look like that, but they're just AA batteries in there.
Yeah.
So that's quite an easy replacement if the batteries have been damaged. You can just replace those with AA batteries.
Sure.
The main problem is obviously the LED head if the circuit board has been damaged there. If you normally clean them up quite quickly, then you can survive that. But again, a replacement head is available for those particular products. So not all lost. No, but we really need to have a look at that one and see how much damage is done.
That's it. So many people, they my last dive centre, used to come in, or they call up actually, and they say, oh, I've flooded my torch, or I've done such and such. Is it okay? And it's very much the matter. I need to have a look at it. I can't diagnose something over the phone. There are usual telltale signs. Normally, if you look inside and you see any kind of like verdigris or this kind of white build up on the insides, or rust, salt water and electronics don't mix very well.
But they do, as long as you clean them quickly.
Yes.
If there's no power to the product, there's no reason things can't be washed in water. In fact, all circuit boards, when they come out, they're actually washed in water.
Just fresh
water, cleaned
and dried quickly.
Yeah. So it depends. I mean, certainly people have done it with iPhones where they've dropped them in the toilet or wherever.
Yeah, as long as you snatch it out quick,
you can actually. Sometimes they can survive. It depends whether you've left the salt water in the torch.
Yeah. So best bet is take your batteries out. Probably bin those if they're disposable anyway. Just bin those. Yeah. Dry it out as best you can. If it is relatively, you see a quick bubble, flush it out with fresh water from a tap. Dry it out thoroughly, and if in doubt, go to your local dive centre and get them to have a look at it. Yeah. They've seen it before. They know what to look for.
Yeah, it happens. It does happen. So yeah, no problems at all. But I'm sure that can still be salvaged somewhere down the line.
Cool. New question I've got from XBitBigs on Facebook. Got a question about GoPro. I've been using a Hero 4 Black mounted on my M3 mask, but the video gets corrupted halfway through the dive each time. Any ideas what's going wrong?
First thing to check will be obviously the SD card.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's different manufacturers of SD card, different makes, different speeds, etc.
Sure.
So, yeah, I mean, you see an SD card. You can buy an SD card for sort of £15. You can buy one for £60. So definitely, that's worthwhile checking and make sure that that's okay there, because all the data has to be recorded to that card, and there's a time lag, and the speed of the card can make a difference in the performance of the camera.
On the outside of the SD card, I don't have one to have a look at, but you have all the. Is there one in there?
Oh, I'll have a quick look.
We'll see if there's one in there. On the SD card, there'll be manufacturer, the amount of storage it has. It will also have a number in a letter C or in a letter U, and that's its speed classification. Basically, how quickly it can. Here we go. This is tiny. Yeah. See how good the camera is.
Oh, look at that. Nearly there.
Oh, it won't quite focus. No. So you have all of the information here, and this little dot. This is like the smallest SD card we could have found. Yeah. There's a little number, and in there you've got the number itself. I think a fairly good, very decent rating is 10.
10 is really the minimum that you want to be doing.
And
class 10.
That's it. And that's basically how much information it can process per second. Just grabbing the information and storing it. So that might be your issue. It just is taking in all this information and it can't cram it into the SD card fast enough. So all the data just kind of glitches.
But if you've got a problem, maybe hopefully you get someone else with another SD card, or if you can swap manufacturers. So if it was, say, a Samsung one, then use a different manufacturer or a different type of card, and hopefully your problem goes away.
Sure. Okay. This one's for Vinnie.
Okay.
Maybe Vinnie could compare the Intova HD against the GoPro 4. So we're looking at your new...
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to compare the two things, we would probably compare the Edge X to the GoPro.
Yeah.
But again, it really depends. The price is obviously key to both of these two things. Sure. So I'm going to quickly look at the prices down here because I've forgotten what they are. So the HD general, the retail price on that one is $179.
Wow.
So it's dive ready, good quality.
Yeah, very affordable.
Very affordable camera. Our Edge X is $259. So again,
even still, still.
It's still a very affordable price. So yeah, a lot of it is budget. The more money you pay, generally you get a better device.
As far
more
as
features in the device.
Yeah, I mean, as far as features though, I mean, these are both good to 60 meters.
This one is actually deeper than that now.
Oh,
well, we're sort of still only saying a 60 meter, but actually 90 meters is now what Intova are now saying as a standard. So that's sort of been crossed out at 60 and changed to 90.
Wow.
So yeah, that's going to be that's going to be an interesting thing. Normally it's the pressure on the buttons and things like that, rather than just the O-ring seals inside.
These both shoot in 1080p.
Yep.
So still high def.
High definition.
It's only the GoPro Hero 4 Black that films in 4K.
Yeah. It's got a chip in there, which is, we're going back to the Type 9 chip as opposed to the Type 7 chip that we have in this one.
So yeah, when you put them right up against one another.
Yeah, I mean we're not pretending that we're the best camera on the market.
No.
But we've got a couple of choices there.
You make some darn good.
You know, it depends what you're going to be doing with it, whether you're using it for sports or whether you're using it as more professional photography or camera sort of thing. Obviously, we can switch these into still modes and take stills with them. And we have a burst mode, interlace mode. So we've got lots of features in there. Yeah. But the key to the Intova product is it's dive ready. Out of the box, you've got your screen on there. You've got your 90 meters, or 60 meters on this one. Sure. So it's all ready to go for your diver. There's nothing else to buy. Maybe just a red filter if you're going to Egypt, or your magenta filter if you're going to be doing something filming over here. And all your accessory handles and things to go on there.
Yeah. Okay, so both of us, we've got Mark on YouTube asks, can boot changes be done on the waterproof dry suits, as off the peg sizes have a boot that is too large? I wouldn't want to hand a $2,000 dry suit to someone other than the original manufacturer. Very wise.
Okay.
Yeah, so as far as sort of making dry suits, you have like the generic size. And then how do they get to the manufacturer from there as vis-a-vis boots and whatnot? Okay,
boot sizing is relatively straightforward, but we sometimes make it complicated by having a UK size.
Yes.
Waterproof work on centimeters, which is quite easy to do.
Universal.
Yeah, you measure your foot from heel to toe, and you read off on the tape measure how many centimeters you are, and that's what size you want to go for. Require. As far as purchasing a dry suit or from waterproof, they will fit or any size boot you want on there. That's no problem. It's just got to wait. It's just not an off the peg item. So yes, you can order. You come into say Simply Scuba, you try your dry suits on. You're happy with the fit, etc., but you want a 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter boot chain, no problems at all. We can order that in. They will change the boots on another suit rather than us send the suit back, cut the boots off, and refit the boots. So they actually do that in the factory. But if you have to wait 3 weeks and you're going to spend that sort of money, it's probably not. It's an investment. You want to be comfortable. The worst thing to do is to buy the wrong size boots, because in 6 months' time, you're still going to be thinking, oh, that boot's too tight, or that's not comfortable. There's too much air in my foot. You get that done. Just wait the 3 weeks that you have to do and get the right size. Yeah, one of my friends, he bought a second-hand suit, and because it was cheap, he thought he was getting a great deal.
But yeah, the boots are 2 sizes too small.
Yeah.
He thought you try it on and you're like, it's all right. But yeah, after an hour's dive, it's
not the right thing to do.
No,
definitely have the boots changed. It's no problem at all.
So as far as a brand new suit, it's quite easy.
Yeah, I mean, we just order the suits in with whatever boot size. We have separate boots, so we can actually send boots to people to try on and so on and so forth.
Nice.
If they can't try the suit on, because you don't have to put the whole suit on. You just put the boot on and see how comfortable it is. Make sure you've got the right size there. You can go from the size guide, and we have a size guide online for a dry suit.
We can
fitting
actually
and so on and so forth.
Look at that if we want.
Okay.
If we go to,
we've got time for this.
Where are we?
Hundreds of questions.
We'll put it in quick. So if we have a look at our website, if we have a look at dry suits, if we have a look at D1.
Yes. Start at the expensive.
Let's start at the top. So one thing we have is the size chart, which is just our generic size chart. And then if you scroll down, we have this button here. So this we've linked to Waterproof, Vinnie's website, and on here we have a sort of online size chart. So here you go, okay, I want to measure myself in centimeters, I'm a man, and I'm looking at, say, the D1 dry suit. If you can sort of estimate your build, I mean, I'm a generic medium, so I click medium, and it gives you, and it gives you your measurements. Another nice feature is down at the bottom, it shows you some alternates, and where it's a green tick, it'll fit you sort of across the chest, the waist, the hips. If you go up to a medium large, it will show you plus, so it will be a little bit too big for you. If we look at the medium tall, it says, okay, it's going to fit me in the chest, waist, and hips, but the body length will be unsuitable and the legs will be unsuitable. And they also has a percentage fit guide. So you want this to be as high as possible to fit. So if I'm looking at a medium suit, but say it's too soon after Christmas and I've been eating a bit, and my waist measurement goes up, you see this chart here all changes. So so the medium will no longer fit me in the waist.
Well, it will just be a little bit tight.
Just be
snug. It wouldn't say it won't fit you. It will just be a little bit tight on there. There's a little bit.
Yeah, it's only when it becomes a red X.
When it's a red X, definitely not. Okay. Then we're into no.
Yeah.
So we have a single minus, which is a little bit tight. Then we have a double minus, which really means no. That's really very tight. We shouldn't be going there.
Yeah, down here in the small.
Yeah. We shouldn't be going down there on the waist.
No. So so with this, you can say, oh, okay, that one will fit quite well. It'll be snug around the waist. But the medium large, okay, it'll be a bit big in the chest, but it'll fit me comfortably in the waist. Yeah. It'll be a little bit bigger in the other things. And that just, it makes it a lot easier to try and choose.
Just before you go off there, if we could just look at these sections here. So we've got this fitting here. So we're saying 98 centimeters to 102 centimeters.
Sure.
So again, we're looking at a range of centimeters. We're not saying it's going to fit 100, you have to be perfect 100. We've got 4 centimeters there to play
either side of it.
So really, if we were, say, 103 centimeters, although on the chart it would come up a little bit tight, it's only 1 centimeter. So we have to run a little judgment there. Of course, you're still going to try the suit on and make sure that you're comfortable with the suit and various bits of it. But of course, the question was about the 27 boot size.
Yes.
So again, that size boot would fit on a small, medium, and a medium plus suit. All those suits would have a 27 boot. That's what Waterproof is suggesting.
As standard, yeah.
As standard. But obviously, if that was too small and you want to have 28, there's no problem then just ordering that suit with a size 28 boot on there, or 29 if that's what was required.
Smart, yeah.
Okay.
I do like that. It does make sort of sizing yourself up for waterproof suits.
It's a guide. It's not 100% science. It's as best as we can, but it gives you a good opportunity rather than trying the wrong size suit on first, getting hot and bothered and things. That if you get people into there, they can size from home. The other thing I'd say on that one, well, people are listening, of course, is to try and use centimetres rather than inches.
Yeah.
Inches, we're too used to inches in the UK, and we sometimes overestimate, shall we say.
Sure.
We measure chest sizes and things like that. We pretend it's not quite right. It's much better to measure in centimetres, A, because we don't understand them, and B, it's just reading off a tape measure.
A number.
And then looking on there, you'll find it would be much more accurate reading centimetres than it would be reading inches. But if you're happy with inches, then please swap it over. And of course, we've got the female sizes on there as well.
Yep.
So going back to the previous question about the ladies, they will do that because they are a different shape. The hips are a different shape.
Sure.
So you can't necessarily switch between male and female suits that easily.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Cool. Right, guys, and that's about all we got time for, unfortunately.
Oh, no more questions we need.
We do have more questions. What I'll do is I'll write a blog and I'll try and record a video and post that on YouTube just to answer all the unanswered questions that we didn't get a chance to. First of all, big thank you to Vinnie.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
For coming.
Great.
And thank you to the video team and everyone else who makes this possible. And thank you to you guys again for voting us Diver Retailer of the Year.
Congratulations on that.
It does mean a lot to us, and thank you very much for your votes. Right, guys, so as usual, safe diving, and thanks for watching. Take care.